Hello. Here we have cards for April 23rd and 24th, 2021. And they are the King of Swords, the Nine of Swords, and the Three of Wands. Strictly business. This is one stressful spread. We never want to see too many swords in a reading, and today 2 out of 3 cards are of the intellectual, mental, and logical suit of air. We have a fire lit under us in the upcoming position in the form of the Three of Wands, a card of expansion, joining forces, and foreign investments and involvements. Patience is a virtue. I've been feeling the layout differently lately, as if I want to call the card on the left the situation, the card in the center where we're at, and the upcoming card advice, or rather, how should I approach this, or from where should I approach this, as in, from the heart, or emotionally, cups by the book, or intellectually, swords, financially, realistically, and physically, coins, and is my spirit truly moved, wands. The situation is simple. We can't do much about anything, and it's pretty damn depressing. The suit of air and fire are both action-oriented, and all we're doing in these cards is worrying and waiting. Worrying and waiting. Worrying and waiting. Interesting, I felt I had to type that 3 times. Yet, it does promise success somewhere else, or with someone else. The King of Swords, Libra, Gemini, Aquarius, and the suit in general represent law and order. The tall, double-edged sword held upright by the king is often interpreted as the tool of his trade, whether a razor-sharp surgeon's scalpel or his or her equally keen intellect. He firmly grips the sword in his right hand along with a shaft of wheat, demonstrating the constructive and beneficial use of his skill and weapon as the clouds dissipate behind him or her. Seek professional advice. There is an interesting detail about the suit of swords relating to our mental state. We see the sharp tip of the king's swords in the past position, but on the 9, in the present, we don't. On the Morgan Greer card, there is no point, or we don't see the point, or what's the point. Tough choices. The Three of Wands, Aries, Sagittarius, and Leo, is an entrepreneur, which is a nice word to throw around, but too often to me these days looks more like throwing everything against the wall and seeing what sticks. This approach will not do, according to the King of Swords, who leaves nothing to chance. The Three of Wands needs plans, and needs the right people to join forces with. Famously referred to as the waiting for your ships to come in card, the Three of Wands shows a successful businessman, or woman, considering new horizons. This card talks about imports, exports, shipping, and international trade, but also travel, and it would seem business travel specifically. This card is ambitious and thinking on a larger scale than the card would suggest. Oil and military negotiations are represented by this card, but of course, we're not all in the oil business or the military directly. We may have to choose between companies or partners, which is causing a great deal of grief and stress. When considering joining forces in business, we need to work with the very best people we can find and whose intentions and values sync up with ours. Intended expansion or travel may be delayed by matters of law, permits, or permissions indefinitely. Long distance. It's easy to make a wrong decision or a wrong move in the Nine of Swords state of mind. The Three of Wands, if nothing else, needs to reach out and talk to somebody.